I'm back. Rodrance for the Black and White Network. Let's talk about Nick Sandmann, the young man that got into the bind involving the Native American. Remember that whole controversy where it said that this young man that supported Donald Trump by wearing a MAGA hat maliciously got up into the face of a Native American and was smiling and was pompous and was supposedly that look was imposing a threat, except we found out that was all bullshit lie. And it was. The Native American was the aggressor, and he was the one that, in fact, got in Nick Sandmann's face. And the liberal media took that narrative and ran with it, and Nick Sandmann said, not so fast. I'm going to cash out on your asses by suing you for defamation when they found out, it wasn't true. Well, he settled another lawsuit, this time involving NBC. We know he got paid big time prior in lawsuits. Well, he just reached another one involving the Covington Catholic controversy. This is theblaze.com. There's Mr. Sandmann right there. Former Covington Catholic student Nick Sandmann announced on Friday that he had reached a settlement with NBC Universal. This is Sandmann's third settlement with a major news outlet stemming from media coverage over the confrontation at the Lincoln Memorial, January 2019. Sandmann, now 19 years old, announced the settlement with NBC on Twitter. Quote, "At this time, I would like to release that NBC and I have reached a settlement. The terms are confidential. The documents filed Friday in U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of Kentucky show both parties agreed to dismiss case without judgment from the court, according to the Cincinnati Enquirer. Sandmann's attorney slapped a $275 million defamation lawsuit against NBC Universal in May of 2019. The lawsuit claimed NBC, quote, unleashed its vast corporate wealth, influence, and power against Nicholas to falsely attack him, despite the fact that at the time he was a 16-year-old student. Quote, NBC Universal's attacks on Nicholas included at least 15 defamatory television broadcasts, 6 defamatory online articles, and many tweets falsely accusing Nicholas and his Covington Catholic High School classmates of racist acts. The lawsuit contended NBC Universal created a false narrative by portraying the confrontation as, quote, a hate crime by Nicholas. The lawsuit argued that NBC's coverage was, quote, relying heavily on biased and unreliable sources without conducting any reasonable investigation of circumstances surrounding the January 18th incident. In 2020, CNN and the Washington Post both settled defamation lawsuits from Sandmann for undisclosed amounts. After the settlement, Sandmann said, quote, we have settled with WAPO and CNN. The fight isn't over. 2 down, 6 to go. In March 2020, Sandmann's attorney filed complaints against the New York Times, ABC, CBS, Rolling Stone, and Gannett over reporting on the Covington Catholic High School student. The former student from Kentucky was chastised by the media for allegedly smirking during a viral standoff with a Native American elder, Nathan Phillips, in 2019 during the March for Life in Washington, D.C., when he was 16 years old. Quote, I see it as a smile, saying that this is the best you're going to get out of me, Sandmann said in a 2019 interview with NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie. Quote, you won't get any further reaction of aggression, and I'm willing to stand here as long as you want to hit this drum in my face. Sandmann commented on the situation involving Kyle Rittenhouse, who was also thrust into the media spotlight as a teenager and lambasted by the media. Kyle was almost immediately labeled a white supremacist as a domestic terrorist, Sandmann wrote in a op-ed for Daily Mail. They came quickly without hesitation because Kyle was an easy target they could paint in in any way they wanted to. This is the problem with liberal medias in the United States. They want to get the story first. They want to get the most views, make the most money, and invest the agenda from their liberal patrons. Quote, I am here for you if you would like to reach out to me. I'm about the only person of our age to have an idea how the media is treating you. The media has treated you terrible, and you don't have to face this alone. ACLU staffer attacks the university for accepting Nick Sandmann, calls Nicholas Sandmann to Kyle Rittenhouse. I am about the only, and that's where the story ends. So, they both essentially went through the same sort of thing, and many people are sort of waiting. Is Kyle Rittenhouse going to file a lawsuit against a lot of these liberal media outlets like Sandmann did? This is only going to stop until every time this happens, somebody files a lawsuit against the entity that created the narrative. Okay? This was one of the key figures the media latched onto in an effort to hurt Donald Trump's campaign. We all know that when you get down to the root of all this, this has to do with Trump. This has to do with tying Trump to white supremacy. They did it with the Proud Boys. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they, of course, did it with Kyle Rittenhouse, Nick Sandmann. They find a story. They go after it. It's like blood in the water. It creates a narrative. And, of course, it pushes the narrative around President Trump. And that hurts elections. It does. Right, wrong, or indifferent. And these guys' lives are changed forever because of this. Nick Sandmann, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Nick has made them pay for it, and he will live very comfortably for the rest of his life because they did that. But that's still a 16-year-old that had to go through a hell of a lot over complete malicious and made-up lies. Period. Tell me what you think, Black and White Network fans. I hope he got paid and paid a lot. I hope Kyle Rittenhouse goes after all of them. And frankly, I know he'll never do it. I know he can't probably. Man, I wish Trump would start suing some of these liberal assholes. I really do. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.